Great Philomena. Have you guys seen Philomena?
Fantastic.
Judi Dench. Oh, 3 cheers to Angela Lansbury, who was made a dame today.
Oh, wow.
She was female knighted, damed, damned, damned and damed.
She got a dam?
No, she got a dame.
Oh, she got a dame.
Never mind.
There's nothing like a dame.
Nothing at all. Well, hey!
Those people actually came to see us.
I know. Well, I did the last episode of Murder, She Wrote, not to name drop.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah, so I did, and I saw Angela when I was 13 in Sweeney Todd in New York City with Len Carrier, and her birthday and my twin sister's birthday are the same day. So my dad wrote her husband and said, my girls are obsessed with the show, and they said, oh, it's Angela's birthday as well, come on up to the dressing room. So I went up and got to meet Angela Lansbury when I was 13, and years later I still had my Sweeney Todd poster, and I did the last episode of Murder, She Wrote. And I walked in on the last day, and we got along like a house on fire. And I said, I introduced her to her now accompanist, and she's the godmother to his children.
Wow.
So the last day I said, Angela, I brought my Sweeney Todd poster. And she goes, no, you didn't. Yes. So she signed it and everything. She was lovely, so it could not have happened.
Framed and put up.
It is, because my friend Liam O'Brien, who's a voiceover actor, some of you know, was in a show with Len Carrier. Fathers and Sons, and I got to see that and bring my poster, and Liam introduced me, so I have both of them.
We worked together on Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was the president. He did a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. So we're voiceover actors, we're directors, we're singers,
Janitors and
janitors, accompanists, hat makers.
Keep going.
Keep going. Some fun stuff that, I don't know if you guys, anybody played Diablo 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're coming out with a new...
I'm like the only one. What the
That's
hell?
okay. What's your name?
He's the only guy that
Chris.
bought it, actually.
So Chris, they're coming out with a new class in the expansion.
Right.
The Crusader class. And I am the female Crusader. So check that out. It should be really fun. I'm really, really proud of the
Now I
work.
should be playing the hell out of you.
I hope so. Oh, Mom.
Wow. Come on, buddy. Come
What
on.
happens in Vegas?
Hello.
Oh, good.
And I have some good news, very exciting news. Actually, I play the Joker in Injustice, Gods Among Us, which just got Fighting Game of the Year. So I'm very happy about that. And I also directed Arkham Origins,
yeah.
which is, I played 3 characters in that too.
Yeah,
So,
our friends Roger Craig Smith and Troy Baker,
Baker, yes.
spent New Year's together in
yeah,
there.
that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun.
About me?
Yes, we talked about
They did not.
Didn't.
Number one on YouTube.
Woohoo! There's a new
They're
show
all
called
bastards, I tell you,
Tenkai
bastards.
Nights. That's a good fun
What?
show. Have you
Holy
seen
Nights?
Tenkai Nights. Check that out. The toys
Nobody
are
cares about
hot.
Montpellier.
Hot. I directed that.
Did you?
No. And I'm just gonna keep talking about me because it's all about me.
Please
And
do.
it'll be about
Please
me.
do.
It'll be about me. So I'm directing a new show for Disney that'll come out next year called Pen Zero Part-Time Hero with Adam Devine from Pitch Perfect and Thomas Middleditch and
There's no Richard Epcar on that show. So
no,
So
we've
the
got
hell with
direct
it.
Bo Bridges on it and Adam West and David Hasselhoff and Leah
Adam
Thompson. Yeah, awesome. The same day I got to direct Adam West and David
Back to
Hasselhoff.
see.
He was fabulous. And Dame Diana
old.
Rigg, who was for me
Oh.
the biggest, oh my gosh, honor. Everybody left the studio and I turned to the owner of the studio. I was like, I'm not gonna throw up and cry because it was such a huge. Diana Rigg is the original Emma Peel, the Avengers, you know, and now the
I
Avengers
actually
are
got
also
to
heroes.
direct, what's his name who played John Steve? What's his name?
Patrick McNee.
Patrick McNee. I got to spend 3 days with him,
Oh.
and he did not know how to play poker, so I taught him how to play poker because he was in The Gambler.
Really?
So I taught him how to play poker for The Gambler, which was kind of cool. And then we were talking, we had Ginny Seagrove was another English actress who came in, and we were talking about Diana Rigg, and she said, oh my God, when I was young, I wanted to be Diana Rigg, and I said, oh my God, when I was young, I wanted to be in Diana Rigg. So that's another story, yes. Yeah,
But she was the originator of the onesie, the spandex leather
Oh
catsuit
my God, they
onesie.
just spray painted
They
her.
spray painted
She
it on
looked
her.
fabulous.
Absolutely. She's on Game of Thrones right
She
now.
looked fabulous.
She's just came in last season. She's the older
Google
grandmother
her.
of.
Google her picture. She's absolutely gorgeous.
Marjorie's mother?
Yeah, Dave Tyrone.
Yes.
Wonderful. And I'm
If
sorry,
you see her when she's young, you will not believe it.
the movie failed horribly, I think. Did you?
Uh,
The movie failed horribly.
Which
The Avengers.
Oh, the one with Ray Fiennes?
Yeah, it was just
With Thurman.
That was
freaking
awful.
horrible,
Thurman,
because
that was
because I
terrible.
grew up with the Avengers TV
Yeah.
series, which was phenomenal. It was incredible. Phenomenal. Phenomena. 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 I'm sorry. You think we've been drinking or something? Do you guys have any questions for us? Yes, you, sir. In front, who has his own panels.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes,
Well, I
man of
mean,
own panel.
I'm very curious about like weird, old, obscure dubbed animation. And I know that from time to time, like you directed a version of Ghost in the Shell 2 that was commissioned by
Yeah.
Manga UK.
That's true.
Then you had the opportunity to redo the role of Bato for the Bondi Entertainment version.
Yes.
And I know that there's a
talking
union
about
and a
Innocence?
non-union
Yeah,
dub.
Innocence.
Yeah.
There's a union and a non-union dub of stuff like Techno Man. It's like, how often does that happen? Where
I
it's
don't know
like-
about the non-union. We did the union dub of Techno Man, which was Techno Man Blade originally.
Yeah, yeah.
I got to tell you a funny story. Quick digression, really funny,
Yeah.
quick. We did Techno Man, and our old friend Tom Miner was directing it. And what do you do? Anyway, when I first went in to do it, they cast me to do this like George C. Scott kind of rough voice to do he was Mac, who was kind of like the Scotty of Star Trek. And then all of a sudden I started doing Sean Conroy, and we stuck with that. And what was really bizarre was I was doing this job for DreamWorks, and I was in Berlin one time, and I turned on the TV, and that was on in German, and the guy who did Mac was doing German with a Scottish accent. And I thought, wow, that's so bizarre, because what happens is we get all the shows from all over the world, and they generally take the English dubs, because we take them down and we do all the time codes and everything, and the dialogue and everything. So they usually take the English versions of it, and they listen to it, and they think that that's the way it's supposed to be done. So I kind of cracked up that they were doing a Scottish accent for Mac. You know.
In German.
In
That's-
German, that was bizarre. Well, that wasn't. That
That
was not the most bizarre thing that happened in Germany, but that's a whole other story.
You're
Anyway.
in Vegas, you can tell all here.
Yes, but anyway, you're asking about Ghost in the
Well, I'm
Shell.
asking about more generally. Have you had experiences where, like, for whatever reason, rights reasons or whatever, you end up doing multiple dubs of the same animation?
That was
We did that for
bizarre.
Violetta. There's this a show that Disney's doing now called Violetta, and it's in I think it's down in Buenos Aires, and it's a great show. It's sort of like it's like a Nickelodeon. What's the not a Hannah Montana, but what was the other with the dark hair?
iCarly?
iCarly. It's kind of like an iCarly, but with music, so it's really good. And we were doing one version of it for Disney, and then Disney Foreign was doing another version of it. Same show.
Yeah.
Bob Buckholz is doing that, and somebody
Bob
came up
Buckholz.
to Jamie, and we spent all this time. We had all these Disney kids come in and do it. I mean, we spent so much time on this, and then we realized, oh, they're doing it at another studio for like much
3
less.
cents.
So we're like, well, there goes that job. So it does happen. It does happen. I found it interesting that it happened within this one amazing company that just they sort of it's so big that they didn't realize that it was being done by 2 different studios. I thought that was interesting.
I'll try to give you the really quick version of that whole thing, because it's a really long, involved, boring story. But basically what happened was that movie came out, and the rights were owned by DreamWorks. And I had done a lot of supervising for DreamWorks, so I felt I had some juice with them, and I tried to get in and do it and have something to do with it. And I couldn't get anywhere with it, and I basically gave up. And then actually it was Otakon, Baltimore. That's kind of ironic, but it was Otakon, Baltimore. I went there, and they said, oh yeah, the guys from DreamWorks are here, and they're doing the Innocence thing, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I went and I tried to find them, they were gone. I went on a bus to go to dinner, and I'm sitting next to this beautiful Asian lady, and I introduced myself, and she turns out to be one of the producers of Innocence in Japan. And she says, well, we don't own the rights to North America, DreamWorks owns the rights. And I said, who should I talk to? And she gave me the name of the lady. I tried calling her, and I thought I had some juice with them because I had worked for them for many years. And I couldn't get through, nobody returned my call, I couldn't talk to anybody, so I kind of gave up on it. Then I was brought to London Comic-Con, and I met with Manga UK, and they approached me, they said, we went to the original guys who did Ghost in the Shell, who do a wonderful job, and they said, we understand you have a company, which I do, it's Epcar Entertainment, we do a lot of this kind of stuff. And they said, we would like you to bid on this because we want an English version of it. And DreamWorks decided to just release the subtitled version. I thought for sure they were going to release a version with Johnny Depp doing the voice of Bateau or something like that.
No.
Yeah.
No offense.
He needs the money. Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, no, he doesn't at all. Anyway, so what happened was they asked me to do it. I bid on it, and I got it, and it was great. We did it. And then 5 years later, they decided that in North America, they wanted to have their, Bondi decided they wanted to have their own version of it. So they went back to the Gits group who did the original series, and they had them do the version, and then they asked me if I would do Bateau again in that, and Mary did the major in that. And so you did it in both versions, and I did it in both versions. It was kind of bizarre, quite frankly, because I had written and directed the English adaptation of that for the Manga UK version.
Yeah.